The third overall pick from the 2021 draft, Trey Lance, was traded from the Niners, where he only had 4 starts to the Dallas Cowboys for a 4th-round pick. But the bigger story was that Jerry Jones did not give his quarterback or his head coach a heads up on the move. Here's Marcus Spears on the lack of success his former employer, Jerry Jones, has had lately.
What move has Jerry Jones made, the general manager that everybody praising now because he's motivating Dak? What move has Jerry Jones made to you in the last 3 to 4 years that tells you he wants to win a Super Bowl? Jerry Jones has not made the moves that we've seen Super Bowl contenders make based on free agency and trades in order to put them in the best position to win football games and get beyond a second division round in the playoffs.
Dan, earlier in the show, we were lauding the Cowboys, obviously, for what they've become in terms of the financials, right? But as far as success in terms of the Super Bowls, they've been lacking. So who's the bigger culprit in their lack of success? Would you put it more so on the quarterback, Dak Prescott, or Jerry Jones, like Marcus said? And he
I would put it on Dak Prescott specifically to the playoffs. But can I respond quickly to Marcus? Because he's wrong, as much as I love him, when he's saying, like, what are the moves in the past 3 to 5 years that Jerry Jones has made? Well, I don't know. This past offseason, he traded for a guy that was the Defensive Player of the Year a couple years ago in Stephon Gilmore and brought in Brandon Cooks. He drafted CeeDee Lamb a couple years ago. He drafted Tyler Smith a couple years ago along with Zach Martin.
Hold on, Dan. Marcus wants to make sure to emphasize when he was arguing with me on that particular segment. I get the Stephon Gilmore part because you're right. He was saying excluding the draft. He's saying that outside of the draft, what has Jerry Jones done? He wasn't questioning the draft. He was talking about outside of the players he actually drafted.
I mean, he went and got Steph and he went and got Brandon Cooks this offseason. I mean, those are 2 pretty significant moves for their football team. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. This is why I say Dak Prescott when it comes to the playoffs. Okay, so in 3 out of their last 4 playoff games in Dallas, those have been losses. In those 3 losses, okay, a couple years ago, they beat Seattle in a game where Zeke ran for like $150, and they scored, I think, 24 points, so fine. They lost to the Rams, and in that loss, that offense that Dak led went 1 for 10 on 3rd down. That's directly correlating quarterback performance. And in the past 2 losses, when they've played San Francisco, they've scored a total of 29 points in those 2 games total. He's got 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. So I can't pin that on Jerry Jones. I mean, Dak Prescott hasn't played really good football outside of 1 game in the last 4 playoff games, and that was against Tampa, and Tampa stunk last year. So I can't put that on Jerry Jones. Dak Prescott and his lack of kind of playing to the level of expectation in those playoff games is the reason why the Cowboys haven't gotten back to one of those NFC Championship games.
All right, I have a few questions for Dallas Cowboys fans and you, Daniel Orlovsky. Who gave us 10 years of Jason Garrett? Who traded away Amari Cooper for a bag of peanuts and then, as a result, had to trade for Brandon Cook? Pause. Stop it.
No, they had to trade Amari because they couldn't afford him anymore after they paid Dak.
And now we have Brandon Cooks. Who held on to Zeke Elliott too long? Who paid Zeke Elliott first out of everybody, right? Dallas fans, if you don't believe in Dak Prescott, who drafted him? Who paid him? You don't believe Mike McCarthy is the answer? Who hired him? Who hired him instead of figuring out if a Sean Payton marriage could work or tapping into the coaching staff that already existed and getting Dan Quinn? I hear you on Dak, Dan. I get it. Big moments, he's got to come through. But as much as Jerry talks about the goal is always to win a Super Bowl, I just wonder about these moves. The quarterback and the head coach, that's his call. So at the end, so for me, the buck stops with Jerry. He's the one, you want to make all these moves, you want to act like GM, owner, head coach, and all that. Well, what we see now, a team that consistently underperforms in the big moments, that has to fall at his feet.
Well,
Voila.
let me chime
Steve,
in here. First
what's
of
up?
all, I'm going to agree with you, K. Mart, Kimberly,
Pause.
Mrs. Martin.
Let's.
I'm going to agree with you here because there's something that's making me laugh just the thought of this. First of all, Dan Orlovsky, you're wrong because clearly you have a problem reading. The reality is that under the tagline, bigger culprit in Cowboys' lack of success, right under there it says Dallas hasn't reached the NFC Championship game since 1995. Obviously, Dak Prescott arrived there in about 2016. And so that's about 21 years before Dak Prescott even showed up. The answer is obviously Jerry Jones when you look at that particular question itself. If it was frequent, if it was a recent memory, I would have said Dak Prescott, like I said the other day when answering this question. But since it's talking about the Cowboys' lack of success overall, spanning the last 28 years, that has nothing to do with a third of the, 2/3 of that time have nothing to do.
Sorry, I didn't get that time
missed that.
frame
You missed it.
connotation.
You missed the time frame.
If you had your glasses,
you're automatically wrong.
If you had the
but
glasses,
listen,
you
y'all.
would've
Listen, y'all. Because I don't have anything to say because it's obvious Jerry Jones because of the time, 1995. I just have to give this to y'all because it's absolutely hysterical, and I'm laughing right now just thinking about this. I just had a researcher send me this stat because they talked about players, modern day players, not really feeling the Dallas Cowboys as America's team and stuff like that. Are y'all ready for this stat that I'm about to throw out to y'all? NFL rosters were reduced to 53 players, all right? When the rosters were reduced to 53 players yesterday. Did y'all know that out of nearly 1,700 active NFL players around the league, 69% of them weren't even born the last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl. 69% of the players in the National Football League were not even born when the Cowboys last won the Super Bowl. It's beautiful, man. I didn't know this. I had no idea that this is the truth. No wonder.
Please don't put this
No wonder they sit up there crying and stuff like that. I mean, it's hilarious. Okay, so you have a situation where nearly 70% of the National Football League hadn't even entered this earth since the Cowboys last won the Super Bowl. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You just can't make this stuff up. I mean, they are the gift that keeps on giving. I just want to, it just tickles me, man. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I kept the video, I told those Cowboy fans that video will never die. It will never ever die because it's been looking at that's a sister right there. See that sister right there? Oh, she was just disgusting. She's looking at her like y'all ain't worth a damn. Look at her crying like
Molly.
This poor girl is at work right now. Why me?
Where's the dude? Where's the dude? Show the dude that. There he is. That's the dude. He was with the wrong girl, Dan. He was with the wrong girl. His girlfriend dumped him. That's a true story, y'all. His girlfriend dumped him because she sat up there. Freeze the guy with the girl. Let's freeze it right there. Just find a way. It's technology. You gotta freeze this stuff. The guy with the girl. It wasn't his woman, Dan. It was somebody else. He's coming up there right there. That guy right there. It was not his woman. He got caught and she dumped him because she told the world, I'm his woman. That's not me. I got to get rid of him. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you just can't make this stuff. And don't get me started with the sister. And the sister looking at it. You know what that look means, Kimberly. You a sister. You know what that look means. That right there, Dad. She looking at them going like this. Y'all ain't worth a damn. I can't even repeat what she's thinking about them right now. This is the gift that keeps on giving. 70% of the league wasn't even born. Wasn't even born the last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl. I mean, you just can't make this up. This is beautiful, y'all. I just wanted to throw that stat out there, Molly. Y'all can move on. I don't need to say anything else. But one more time. Nearly 70% of the league was not born.
Stephen,
it's hilarious.
Since 2014, the Dallas Cowboys have drafted 14 Pro Bowlers, the most in the NFL.
Wow. Congratulations.
Molly, that's
Oh,
a great
Congratulations.
Ethan.
It
Can
does
you-
not
Dan, you
usurp
can use it
mine.
later on
It does
NFL Live
not
if you
usurp
want. Give me
mine.
credit.
69% of the league wasn't.
Okay,
even
you
born.
can't say
Didn't give
no.
birth.
I'm the host. I wrapped
Didn't
it.
give a birth.
No,
Didn't give
my
birth.
Nuggets.